it's inappropriate that men have been oppressed more than women in history. I think because men have the overwhelming responsibility to take leadership because of physical characteristics, because of how men act, what their natural proclivities are. Because we have more responsibility to do these things, the punishment for shirking those responsibilities or the consequences of failing in those tasks are going to be, disproportionately efficacious towards men instead of women. So I don't know what Brian's would say about this, but I'm not saying that like it's wrong that men are more oppressed by nature or have been more oppressed. I just think it's a matter of reality, and it's not going to change no matter how much we want to argue against it.
Well, I have a question to bring it back to my point. Do you think women should be subject to military conscription, the draft?
I don't know. I think that's a more complex question than I want to answer right now. I don't know.
If I told you that men are subject to forced military conscription, they are actually, I think now, are automatically registered. I don't know if it's passed.
No, once you turn 18, you're automatically.
It's now.
registered.
Is it fully passed? And because I think it had to go through. Got through the House, but it has to go to the. In any case, men are solely subjects of. They have to register for the draft, and in the event of a draft, they would be the solely subject to forced military conscription. Given that, do you think that it should be equalized between men and women?
If I'm being honest, I don't think that men should even be drafted into the military in this sense.
Okay. Well,
that's my personal opinion.
So, but the current status quo is that they are, and assuming that we'll never be able to do away with a draft, is your position that women should also be drafted?
Yeah, probably. I do agree with that, yeah.
Okay, so you're fine with women being drafted? Okay. But you don't really hear, it would be in furtherance of equality, but you typically don't hear feminists arguing that women should be subject to the draft.
When I'm arguing for feminism, I know we talk a lot about equality. I think it's more of a question of equity. Because like you're describing, I agree with you that the discrimination that men and women experience is different. Like I agree with you on that. And I think in order to remedy that, equality is not the solution, it's equity. And it's more specific, nuanced solutions.
What do you mean by equity?
Equity, it's essentially just accounting for the fact that people, based on various identity factors, have different experiences, right? Like, you face discrimination in a way that I don't, right? Mm-hmm. We could agree on that, right? So that way, in order for the playing field to be like more leveled, and I hate using that term, the solutions are going to be different. Like I think you agree with that, don't you?
Wait,
so then are you making an equity argument against the draft?
Well, okay,
not
so
necessarily.
I guess my understanding of equity is it sounds like what you're saying is my understanding of equality, where everyone has the same starting point, and what you do how far you get is dependent upon what you do. And my understanding of equity is that people's starting position will be different,
yes,
so that everybody will end up at the same place. Essentially it's equality of outcome versus equality of opportunity. Equality of outcome being equity and equality of opportunity being equality.
So when it comes to military conscription, what would be equity? The current status quo?
I think it would also have to address the fact that men have been subjected to being drafted, and like you're saying, facing forms of discrimination that are different. Yeah. That is a form. Yeah. That's just an experience that men have had that women have had.
I mean, are men stronger?
Finish your statement.
The solution would need to take that into account, is what I'm saying.
So you're saying it should be women would then be overrepresented?
No, not necessarily. If I'm being honest, I'm a 21-year-old college student. I do not have the answer to this question. I do not. truly think there is a right or wrong answer. I think it depends on your perspective.
There's not a right or wrong answer.
In my view, I do not have a singular answer to this question right now. I do not.
But I mean, if you're a feminist and you believe in equality, wouldn't it occur to you that the equal thing would be both men and women should be subject to forced military conscription in the event of a draft?
I'm not sure. I would need
How
more
can
time
you not
to think about this, if I'm being honest.
But what is there to? I don't understand
so
what there is.
if you hold like an equality of outcome as like this is something we should strive for.
Mm-hmm.
So in the event of a draft, the outcome would be people, regardless of sex, being forced to be put into the military. Now, if we include sex into that argument, then to achieve equality of outcome, an equal amount of men and an equal amount of women would have to be forced to join the military. So you would be for that because you hold the value that equality of outcome should be pursued.
I think you guys raise interesting points. I would need more information, more time to process, and like just research on my own in order to form a singular answer myself. And I'm sorry if that's not satisfying to you guys.
No.
I guess I'm just confused. I mean,
Okay.
it would occur to me that if feminism is about equality, and here's a way in which men and women are not equal, and it could be legislated fairly simply to just say women get the same treatment as men and would be subject to forced military conscription in the event of a draft. They would have to register for the draft the same way men do. They would face the same consequences that men do when they don't register for the selective service. I don't understand how, as a feminist and someone who's in favor of equality, your knee-jerk reaction isn't to just say, yes, that would be equality. I'm in favor of equality.
I think that women, and I said earlier that I think that, yes, this is an issue that needs to be remedied. It probably is including that in some sense, but I don't have an answer in the fact that, like, the equity versus equality distinction. I would need more time in order to form that opinion.
See, so, I mean...
I feel like I keep repeating myself, and I feel like this isn't going anywhere, if I'm being honest.
I have a quick question, if I'm allowed to talk about
Well,
that.
I guess I'm trying to walk you to,
Yeah.
you believe in equality. You're a feminist.
Yeah.
How would it not be equality for both men and women to be both equally subject to forced military conscription in the event of a draft? Are you saying that would not be equality?
I'm saying that it's
Could you just agree that it would be an equal outcome? If a draft were to happen, and if we were talking about equality among the sexes, would it not be just take out all of the social political charge that comes with it? Would it just not be equal in the outcome if men and women both got military conscription?
It would be equal in the outcome.
Okay,
but
there you go.
Can't remove the social charge. It's not how the world works.
I'm sorry, the social what?
You can't. You're
Like
asking me to remove the layers of the.
What layers?
I don't want to get into this right
Do you
now.
think? Well, I mean, when it comes to, do you think that women should be barred from volunteering for the military?
No, I never said that.
I'm not saying you did.
Do you want to share?
I'm not saying that you did, but if you're fine with women being in the volunteer military, then why would you not also be fine with women being forced into, like, if there's a draft for forced military conscription? Like, you don't think they should be barred from volunteering from the military, correct?
My earlier point was that I don't think that anyone should be forced to do that, and I'm
Okay,
just
but
gonna leave it at
but
that.
that's not the current
I know it's
system.
not, but I don't.
Okay, so assuming
Personally,
in
I
a
don't think
world,
it's fair to force
assuming
anyone to do that.
right, but in a world where war happens and there's military conflicts, assuming in a world where you could never get rid of the draft, what is your prescription there? We could always pick it up another
If
day.
you believe in equality,
shit.
men and women should both be drafted. Women can always be in supportive roles. They can do logging positions, BFM positions, whatever. If you're a man, you can be there on the front lines. It doesn't have to be the same job. You can still have equality within being drafted, men and women.
So yes, it is possible.
The issue is people love talking about let's find equality of outcome, but then when it comes to issues like this where it's obvious that men should be the ones fighting because they are different than women.
So you guys are stronger, so you guys should be the ones getting drafted.
So when it
then
comes
what's
to
the-
okay,
what's the
so when it
argument
comes
for?
to male roles in this place, when it benefits women, you're all for it.
What?
But when other effects occur, you're all against it.
Why
It
would
doesn't
that
make
mean
sense.
that we're all for it? How does
No,
that mean
when
that
you
we're all
sit there
for
and
it?
you say feminism, first off, feminism is not for equality at all. Feminism is putting women ahead of men. That's what it is.
That's what it came up as, but that's not what it
That's
should be.
how
Doesn't
it.
mean what it
That's
should
how
be.
it always started. If you want
What
real
it
equality,
started and
both
what it
should be.
Okay,
is
well, if
different.
it
I
was-
understand what it is.
If it was truly about equality, then this should be answered in an instant. Yes, women should be drafted because
I
then
said
it would be okay.
I said
that's fair.
yes.
Okay, yes, but most feminists don't like to say that because all of a sudden it brings up all of these issues. Like, okay, well, it just feels wrong because obviously,
It
well,
feels wrong. It felt wrong for men to think that we could possibly be in a have
don't
the same role in a war. Like we're not
I agree.
strong
I
enough in that
agree.
sense.
But
That
it go-
works
again, it
for us
comes-
if we
well,
want to get drafted. But
yeah,
not.
well, that goes to my worldview that men and women are intrinsically different. Therefore, they will have intrinsically different experiences. They will have intrinsically different downsides to their life as a man, woman. Yeah.
but-
So it doesn't matter. No matter how hard we try to work against that, we will always have biology, being a man or a woman, that will dictate what our experience will be. So it doesn't matter. We can try to make that outcome equal. It's impossible.
But she also did make a good point about there still being roles
Yeah.
within.
I don't believe in the whole feminist bullshit, but I do believe if men are going to be drafted, women should be drafted. Again, separate roles. Men can be on the front lines. Women should be supporting the men. We shouldn't just let them all.
Like, oh, you guys go figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's where I even differ there. For the actual pure sake of pure, unadulterated equality, women should also be
Put them on the front
put
lines.
on the front
Do
lines
it
because
if they're
that's-
physically able to do it,
that
but
would
apparently
be-
we haven't
that
been
would-
physically
that
able
would
to
be equality.
equally.
That would be
Well, no,
equality.
that's equality of outcome because an equal amount of women are getting slaughtered as an equal amount of men. So
it's getting
the outcome is
contradictory.
equal. Well, that's what we're talking about. We want equality. If equality is our ultimate goal, then we should pursue equality in all things. Therefore, we need to pursue equality in how many people die in war.
I guess.
Brian, I'll be on
See,
the
it doesn't
front
make any
lines. Give me a
sense.
sniper.
No.
Therefore, feminism doesn't make sense. Why are we
It says it
pursuing that?
makes sense, but
There we go. Okay,
Look,
doesn't make sense.
So, but this is the criticism.
Their goal and
This
what
is
it turned
the-
into doesn't make sense.
This
to
is
you
the
guys.
criticism of feminism.
Yes.
Is that
Exactly.
Is that
Yeah, I
it's
know
not
that. I'm
it's
well
not about
aware.
okay. Feminism is not about equality. It's about securing benefits for women. If a form of equality in some conceivable way comes at the detriment of women, for example, it would be equality for both men and women to be drafted, but it would conceivably come as a new detriment to women.
It's like pulling teeth.
Feminists will not fight for said equality, even though it is equality. So of course, feminism is not an equality movement.
All right.
It's, if I can be the most charitable, it's a women's advocacy movement. Nothing wrong with women's advocacy, but let's not sit here and lie and
blur
say
the
that
lines
it's
that could be
equality.
I
It's not
guess.
about equality. It never has been.
Okay.
Otherwise, they would be advocating for all sorts of things that would conceivably come at the detriment and to the detriment of women, but they don't.
I think we're both equally skewed, and this is never gonna really.
Anyways, I mean, I'm just
it was
surprised that the feminist here who's taken feminist classes it's
She's also fresh and learning these
she's
things.
21.
Yeah. All right.
She's an adult.
We've been going at this for hours. I'm tired. I think that we have had very different experiences that have shaped different viewpoints. I've explained my position. You guys have explained yours. I don't think a resolution is going to be reached. And I
What
think
would
that's
our
fine.
experience